What's up, fishes? It's your boy Chillfish with my boys over here. We got Jay, we got Kono Bandit, Rising Duelist Squad, Hat Squad, all that good stuff. And today, you know, at time of recording / uploading, it is the end of March. Can we just believe how fast 2018 is flying by already?
Yeah.
Well, my birthday's in April, so I always think, oh my god, my birthday's coming up. I'm like, oh my god, that means this 4 months of this year's already gone.
Yeah.
Crazy. But anyway, but with that being said, also, not only is the year going by really fast, this format is flying through. Like, I remember waiting for the January ban list, and it felt like waiting for Christmas. Like, every day took forever. Mm-hmm. This one, though, I'm like, God, I told them before, I'm like, guys, the ban list is due, quote unquote, next month. And they're all like, really? And I'm like, yes, because we're having a good time with the format right now.
Yeah,
but
nice.
I mean, let's talk about the format real quick before we dive into the ban list
I love
discussion.
it.
I love this format. This format's
great.
amazing because even with the top decks that we'll talk about a little bit and what they should be kind of nerfed to make more decks grow, this is a very fun format because you have virtually
endless possibilities.
Anything.
Yeah.
He was playing a new version of Teledeck that is good and like can actually do things in the meta. So one. Thank you, Konami, because you answered my prayers at the beginning of the year where I said I wanted Banlist to reshake up the format, and you did. Now hear me again when I beg of you now. Don't create it to where we get another, my least favorite format of all time, guys. I don't want another Monarchs, Cosmo, Pendulum format all over again. We have 3 decks, and that's just it.
I think that's a good topic for a new video, too, because I have some fears for when Dark Sabers comes out, or whatever it's called. When that comes out with Brandish Maidens.
And then leaving Elemental Sabers show up down the road. But, so we do have those kind of fears, but right now, I mean, like, what do you think? Jay, before we dive into it, like, any other comments about this meta and how much we love it?
Oh, I absolutely love the meta right now. I think that there's an obvious best deck that is Magician. I think there's an obvious second best deck that is 2 Dracos. But both of those decks can be worked against and can be beaten.
Yeah.
And have their weaknesses, and I think it is set to a point where any deck can really kind of sneak in a top here and there and can even win the biggest world YCS in Europe's history, being World Chalice, which we've made plenty of fun of on this channel.
Oh yeah. I built the deck and I was making fun of it. Or even like recently, at the time of recording this video, you know, Cubics, guys. Anime antagonist that's not Kaiba actually won something. But even with that though, that's just a beautiful sign of the format in my opinion. And I do kind of like that we do have the top 3 good decks that everyone can side for, because the one downside of this meta is that it is extremely hard to side for.
It's very hard
because you have,
if you're not ready,
everything under the sun. So that's good, but I like the freedom of this. But with that being said, let's talk about Magicians real quick. What do you guys think? What are some things that you would want to this deck? Just so not that this deck would be like Crucified where we can't play it again, because it doesn't need to be Crucified, I think, like Zodiac did. But in a way to help, get rid of the old and out with the old and with the new kind of thing.
Obvious first card is Astra Graft.
Yes.
Needs to be hit. I would say, honestly, 1, because he could be used in other decks, which helps out, I would say. But in Pendulum Magician specifically, he's way too powerful.
Yeah. Which 4 months ago, no one would ever believe you if you were saying Astra Graft. But
maybe if you showed him Electromite's effect, So that's just, I think that honestly, if you just hit Astra Graft, Pendulum should still be the best deck. But just slows them down enough where they're just not like tier. I don't know. I think they're not even tier 0 right now.
This format is so weird to think about whether it's tier 0, tier 1, or even if we're all playing tier 2s at this point.
Supreme King, Darkworm.
There we go.
I think that needs to get hit. Definitely.
I think Worm should go to 1 only because of its versatility in almost every other deck.
I think it's strange because a lot of decks
it's that broken.
Yeah, a lot of the decks that can run like the whole Ravine Destrudo thing also put Darkworm in there too. Like for example, Destrudo ABCs.
Yeah.
They just run the 1, and no one ever uses his search effect except for Pendulum Magicians. And I think because of that search effect, it kind of replaces the Joker that was in the deck.
Exactly.
Except now you don't need to use your normal summon. You just Dragon Trine it or Foolish Burial it.
Yeah. Which is, if you think about it, a normal summon versus anything else. On paper, it's a little bit more busted, but I think that putting this card down to 1 would be a good way to prevent kind of the problem that Konami does this a lot. You know, Upstart to 1, you know, Book of Moon to 1. Like, it's more just to reduce how many people are playing this card. Because I don't think it's a busted card by itself, but I do think putting it to 1 would do a little bit extra of, we're going to put another little...
It's like free Electromite, that's what it is.
But I think putting it to 1 would be a good way to not hinder the rogue players, but also slightly slow down the meta deck.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's also pretty interesting that, with Magicians, their main goal is to make Electromite without using the normal summon, without using the Pendulum summon. And if they do that, they pretty much just set up like this massive board. If they can get that done, they pretty much will get like the 3 to 4 negates. So Dark Room's a huge part of that because it searches the scale and it's just it's a free summon without using the normal summon.
The thing though, it's like I don't want these cards to go banned because the deck is doing good, but slow it down just a little bit so
it
becomes like a third or fourth.
And honestly, if like I'm perfectly fine with them. I'm not hitting Magicians in any other way except for Astra Graft to 1 because they're not OP right now. They're the best deck, but they're just not OP. So I think that just putting them to 1 is perfectly fine.
And then the next deck really talk about, and there's really, at least me and Jay kind of figures only one way. I mean, Conan Banning is True Draco. Now the only real thing, because True Draco, I firmly believe, are the next BA in terms of if their boss doesn't go away, this deck will show up everywhere.
Just keep coming in.
One thing to desperately talk about is Masterpiece is definitely the boss monster and a insanely powerful threat, and it's just such a dominating presence on the board. But a lot of the decks are only running 2 because Masterpiece, at the end of the day, is a brick. You don't want it in your opening hand. You want to search it. You want to do everything else. You want to open nothing but your spell and traps and do all those stuff and then search Masterpiece. That's the goal. Like, opening up Masterpiece is not ideal. That's why people are only running 2. If you put it to 1, they'll still be able to recycle the Masterpiece. It's still a dominant presence on the board, but once you deal with it, you don't have to worry about having to deal with another one right next to it. You have to worry about dealing with the next turn because they can just recycle it back, use Disciples, shuffle it back, diagram, pop Disciples, add it back to your hand. Like, easy. Like, very easily they can just get it back.
Yeah, it's not hard to get back.
So I think that's perfectly fine. But if you just put Masterpiece to 1, you never had to deal with more than 1 Masterpiece on the board at the same time.
And they probably won't run Pot of Desires anymore because you might banish your 1 copy.
But that card also, I mean, if we're playing with anything with Invoked will still see a good presence, and we'll talk about those in just a second. But with Invoked, True Draco, no one ever complains about 1, Masterpiece. They complain about 2 Masterpiece on the board because then you have double protection on everything, and I don't care what you guys say. If you really think about it, the fact that this card contributes spells and traps and gain that immunity, that's a pretty busted boss monster.
Yeah, I agree.
One thing that's also very important to consider is that they weren't typing until a new monster came out recently, and that monster is a Mono Iwado. And if I'm pronouncing that wrong, fuck you. Pardon my language.
That card, I feel like that card could probably go to 1 too.
Well, it's just but spirits need it though. Like spirits need.
Yeah, but I see that's the thing. It's like I would rather when a new card shows up. In my personal opinion, that means get rid of an older card that's just as busted. So this just further get rid of the.
Didn't some guy top with Shino Birds?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was using triple and mono.
This format's beautiful, guys. You can top with anything. Next week I'll top with Cloudy.
I've never heard anyone say. You know what? My spirit deck needs some support. So you can build this massive board of like 5 negates, summon Raigeki, and then just do your stuff.
Exactly.
You could go either way, in my opinion. I personally think that while Jay made fantastic points on disagreeing with him, if you get rid of the head, the rest of the thing will follow.
Yeah. I'm not saying one is the right answer versus the other. I'm saying both of them are viable answers to hitting True Draco. Not that it necessarily needs to be hit. Same thing with Magicians. These things are decks that could be like pegged down a little bit. Just a little bit, but it's just such a nice format right now.
We're not in a format that we need a lot of overhaul, like rebuild.
True, yeah.
This last format before us, we needed a reboot. This is fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we're just bringing up the ban list, Fairytale Snow shouldn't be at 3.
Okay.
I will always say that it should be a 1. I just think it's too powerful.
A lot of the dinos are topping again.
The dinos are topping.
Light Sworns are becoming a thing.
And I don't think the dinos itself are a problem. I don't think the Light Sworns are a problem. I don't think any of their actual cards. I just think Fairytale Snow is too powerful.
Double Evolution Pill is also like a really popular.
Double Evolution Pill is very good.
It's searchable now. So that's something, and then it combines 2 of the most broken techs in the game together, ignoring its summoning conditions and special summon from deck. Those are the 2 most broken techs in the game, and they're put together.
I remember we talked about this a long time ago, saying that maybe that card's gonna get hit. Double Evolution. Do you remember that?
We thought that forever.
Yeah, a long time ago.
First we had dinos were gonna get crushed. Now as a Shadino player, I will admit that card is a pretty busted one in the deck.
Yeah, but dinos aren't like they're just a really powerful deck.
But I think the natural stipulation for that card, for example, is that it has to be a dino monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're not creating anything from the board, but Ultimate Conductor is still nothing to sneeze at, though.
Yeah, so Ultimate Conductor just kills like a lot of Pendulum decks.
Just true, yeah. Shuts them down.
Whew. Yeah.
The final card I want to mention on this, wrap it up, is just one card that has plagued us for a very long time, and now with the accessibility of a hand trap being floating around, I think this card should be hit. Not because of what it does for the main deck, because it's everything else. I still think Reincarnation should go to 1. But
still at this point?
Yeah, Trickstars are like 3rd or 4th deck.
I guess.
If you take that, they went down. They're not is like.
Well, let's get real, guys. This meta changes every 2 days, so what I'm saying now is not gonna be relevant.
I mean, that's true. If you look back at like one of the first,
we filmed the video once, and I told Jay on the chat we can't upload this. And he goes, why? I'm like, because everything changed 2 hours later. We couldn't even and he goes, are you serious? I'm like, nothing me or Chrono Bandit said remotely now reflects the meta, and that's how sad it is. One day trying to film everything.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. So Trickstars, I guess the only thing you can really do is just put Reincarnation to 1 so they don't have that win condition anymore.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's alternate win conditions. I'm not a fan of in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, so you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But that's if that's a real concern. But like honestly, people have found the weakness in Trickstars and just summon a monster that's over 19 attack and warning
What
the
are they gonna
blow.
do?
Hey, check this out.
Hey. And when they get their Carabina, the thing, their own honest, then it's gonna.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We can talk about this later.
Yeah, that's basically what we all think here. What do you guys think? Are there any cards that we missed? You guys think that should get hit in some way, shape, or form? And don't be that guy who just complains about whatever card. Like, I hate this deck. It should all die. No, we tackled the decks that.
Can we just take a moment and just like congratulate Konami a little bit because they did not hit Trickstars at all, and they called it so hard that they did not need to be hit in this format.
Yeah.
That's pretty phenomenal.
I think Konami did a phenomenal job. This is one video I'll be giving them praise. A phenomenal job on handling the last ban list because it opened up so much. Mm-hmm. Like I said, though, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop and then to ruin a good thing, and then we go back to a 4-point, 3-point format, or
just to piss Chillfish off. All the Monarch cards are gonna come off Dark Sword to 3, and Dark Plenum's gonna be back, and that's gonna be the 3 best decks. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you think about the bans? I honestly think that this format is healthy, and I think it'll be perfectly reasonable not to get a ban list until the new set drops.
If we didn't get a lot of changes, or like a couple things, like 1 or 2 small things change, like Konami realized everyone's playing this 1 card limited or whatever like that, like a lot of more cosmetic, like house cleaning, or and we're doing a video about this for next time. Things coming off the ban list, things coming back into the meta. That's one thing I hope Konami does, but I don't see a lot of things to need the ban.
Honestly, I agree.
So
let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, let us know. Comment below. Subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh content, and we'll check you guys out later.